The marble floors of the Patterson estate gleamed under the crystal chandeliers, reflecting a world of wealth that seemed almost too perfect to be real. Margaret Chen pushed her cleaning cart slowly down the long hallway, her worn sneakers making soft, squeaking sounds against the polished stone. She had been working as a janitor at the mansion for only 3 days, but she had already heard the whispers from the other staff members. "Those girls are impossible," the cook had said that morning, shaking her head. "Mr. Patterson has gone through 12 nannies in 6 months. 12! Not one of them could last more than 2 weeks! Margaret had simply nodded, keeping her thoughts to herself. She knew what it was like to be judged, to be misunderstood. As a single mother raising her own daughter, Emma, she had faced more challenges than most people could imagine. The sound of shouting echoed through the mansion, pulling Margaret from her thoughts. She paused near the grand staircase, her hand resting on the handle of her mop. 2 voices, young and angry, filled the air with sharp words. "I hate you," one voice screamed. "I hate you more," the other shot back. Margaret recognized them immediately. Sophia and Olivia Patterson, the 8-year-old twin daughters of James Patterson, one of the wealthiest tech entrepreneurs in the country. Their mother had passed away 2 years ago, and their father, consumed by grief and work, had become a distant figure in their lives. The twins appeared at the top of the staircase, their identical faces flushed with rage. Sophia's dark hair was pulled back in a tight ponytail, while Olivia's hung loose around her shoulders. The only way, Margaret had learned to tell them apart. They were pushing and shoving each other, their expensive dresses wrinkled and torn. "Girls!" came an exhausted voice. The new nanny, a stern woman named Mrs. Henderson, appeared behind them. "Please, you must stop this behavior immediately." "Leave us alone!" Sophia yelled. "You're not our mother," Olivia added, her voice cracking with emotion. Mrs. Henderson's face crumpled. Without another word, she turned and walked away, her footsteps heavy with defeat. Margaret watched as the woman disappeared down the hallway, knowing she would probably never see her again. The twins stood at the top of the stairs, their anger slowly fading into something that looked much more like sadness. They sat down on the top step side by side, their shoulders touching. Margaret could see tears streaming down their faces. She should have continued with her work. It wasn't her place to get involved, but something in her heart wouldn't let her walk away. Slowly, quietly, Margaret climbed the stairs. She sat down 2 steps below the girls, giving them space but staying close enough to be present. For a long time, no one spoke. The mansion settled into an unusual silence. "My daughter used to get really angry too," Margaret finally said, her voice soft and gentle. "After her father left us, she would throw things and yell. She wouldn't talk to me for days sometimes." The twins didn't respond, but Margaret noticed that Olivia had turned her head slightly, listening. "I didn't know what to do at first," Margaret continued. "I thought maybe I was a bad mother. Maybe I wasn't enough for her. But then I realized something important. She wasn't really angry at me. She was sad and scared, and anger was the only way she knew how to show it." Sophia wiped her nose with the back of her hand. "What did you do?" she asked quietly. Margaret smiled, a sad but understanding smile. "I stopped trying to fix her anger and started trying to understand it. Every evening I would sit with her, just like this. I wouldn't tell her what to do or how to feel. I would just be there, waiting until she was ready to talk." "Did it work?" Olivia whispered. "Eventually," Margaret said. "It took time. Healing always takes time." But slowly she started to trust that I wouldn't leave her, no matter how angry she got. And when she finally felt safe enough, she told me what was really bothering her. The twins were silent for another moment. Then Sophia's small voice broke the quiet. "We miss our mom." The words hung in the air like a prayer. Margaret felt her own eyes fill with tears, but she blinked them back. These girls needed her to be strong, not to fall apart. "Of course you do," Margaret said simply. "And you always will." "That's okay. It's more than okay. It's how it should be. Everyone keeps trying to replace her," Olivia said, her voice trembling. "All these nannies, they come in and try to make us forget. But we don't want to forget. We can't forget." Margaret nodded slowly. "No one can replace your mother. No one should even try. She was special, and she loved you more than anything in this world. Remembering her isn't something to be fixed or forgotten. It's something to be honored." Sophia turned to look at Margaret fully now, her eyes red and swollen. "You really understand?" "I do," Margaret said, "because I've been sad too. Because I know what it's like to lose something precious and have the world keep spinning like nothing happened." For the first time, the twins really saw Margaret, not as a janitor or a servant, but as a person who understood their pain. Olivia reached out and took Margaret's hand. Her small fingers were warm and trembling. "Will you stay?" she asked. "Will you be here tomorrow?" Margaret squeezed her hand gently. "I'll be here tomorrow. And the day after that. I'm not going anywhere." From that evening on, something changed in the Patterson mansion. Margaret continued her work as a janitor, but during her breaks, she would find the twins and sit with them. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they just sat in comfortable silence. Slowly, the angry outbursts became less frequent. The girls started to smile again, to laugh, to be children. Mr. Patterson noticed the change. One evening, he found Margaret cleaning the library, and he stood in the doorway, watching her work. "I don't know what you did," he said quietly, "but my daughters are different now. They're themselves again." Margaret looked up, surprised. "I didn't do anything special, Mr. Patterson. I just listened. I just stayed." His eyes were glassy with unshed tears. "The others tried to control them, to discipline them, to mold them into something easier to manage. But you—" He paused, searching for the right words. "You saw them." "You really saw them?" Margaret smiled softly. "Sometimes the hardest thing to handle isn't misbehavior. Mr. Patterson, it's pain. And the only way to handle pain is with patience, presence, and understanding." As the months passed, the Patterson household transformed. The twins flourished under Margaret's gentle presence, and Mr. Patterson himself began to emerge from his grief, spending more time with his daughters. Margaret never became their nanny. She remained their friend, their listener, their safe place. And in the end, that was exactly what they needed. Not someone to replace what they had lost, but someone to help them carry the weight of their loss with love, dignity, and hope. The marble floors still gleamed. The chandeliers still sparkled. But now the mansion was filled with something more valuable than wealth. It was filled with healing, with connection, with the slow and gentle rebuilding of a broken family. And it all began with a janitor, who knew that sometimes the most impossible problems require the simplest solutions: to see, to listen, and to stay.